You do not always open the job app because you are ready to leave. Sometimes you open it because something shifted at work. A meeting appeared in the calendar with a vague title. A manager used the word streamlining. A new AI tool was introduced with a smile and no real explanation. A colleague disappeared from the shared schedule. Nobody said panic. Nobody had to. So, you update your CV a little, you save a course you may never finish, you look at a role you may never apply for. You tell yourself you are just checking. But really, you are reading the room. That is what career planning looks like for many people now. Not a clean 5-year plan. Not a straight ladder from junior to senior to manager. Not a simple story about passion, ambition, and personal branding. More like weather tracking. You watch where pressure is building. You watch what gets automated. You watch who gets hired. You watch who quietly leaves. You notice which skills keep being mentioned and which skills slowly stop mattering. And somewhere inside all of that, you ask the question nobody wants to say too loudly. Is the floor under me still there? This is not the dramatic version of the future where robots arrive overnight and take everything. The real version is quieter. It is the worker who stops talking about promotion and starts talking about certifications. It is the young person who does not only ask, "Will this job teach me something?" but also, "Will this job still exist after the tools improve?" It is the parent looking at a better opportunity and calculating childcare, transport, flexibility, burnout risk, and whether the new manager will turn every emergency into a loyalty test. That is not cynicism. That is adaptation. Reuters reported in May 2026 that global companies with large capability centers in India are rethinking hiring because AI is changing the skills they need. The point was not that hiring had stopped. The point was that companies were becoming more selective. Routine entry-level work was under pressure, while advanced AI, cybersecurity, and technical skills were becoming more valuable. That matters because entry-level work was never just cheap labor. It was training ground. It was where people learned judgment. It was where they made mistakes before the stakes were high. It was where someone older could show them how the job actually worked after the onboarding video ended. If the bottom steps shrink, the whole ladder changes. And this is where the story becomes more complicated than simple doom. Strata Institute's 2026 research found that senior talent leaders were more likely to expect AI to increase entry-level hiring than reduce it in 2026. That part matters. The door may still be open, but the floor is higher. New workers are expected to use AI, think critically, communicate clearly, analyze faster, and become productive sooner. That may sound reasonable in a report, but in real life, it means a beginner is asked to arrive already partly trained for a job that is still changing while they are learning it. That is a different kind of pressure. You are expected to be new, but not too new. You are expected to learn, but not slowly. You're expected to use tools your workplace may not even have clear rules for yet. Deloitte's 2026 Gen Z and Millennial survey points to the same tension. 74% of both Gen Z and Millennials say they already use AI in some form in their daily work. Many see the benefit. It can save time. It can improve output. It can help people learn, write, organize, and produce work that used to require more support. But the same picture shows something else too. Many younger workers feel they are adapting faster than their organizations. That creates a strange workplace. People use AI quietly before there is a policy. They rewrite emails with tools nobody mentions in meetings. They ask ChatGPT before asking a manager because the tool answers faster and does not judge. They put AI literacy on a CV before anyone agrees what that really means. The public word is upskilling. The human version is different. It is sitting after work with tired eyes, trying to learn the thing that might protect your next paycheck. And people do not carry that pressure in exactly the same way. Men often feel it through usefulness, income, status, and replaceability. Not as a victim story, just as behavior. A man may scan the job market without telling anyone. He may stop saying he wants the perfect job and start looking at what has demand. He may wonder whether his skills are too soft, too old, too common, or too easy to automate. He may not say he is scared. He may simply become more practical. He takes the course. He asks about overtime. He looks at a trade, a certificate, a second income stream, or a different sector, Not because he has lost ambition, because ambition without protection starts to look like gambling. Women often feel the same shift through stability, time, safety, and hidden load. Not as moral superiority, just as behavior. A woman may look at a career opportunity and ask questions the public career language does not always respect. Can this job survive automation? Does it allow flexibility? Will the manager respect boundaries? Can I take this risk while carrying family logistics, health appointments, children, elder care, or the mental load at home? Is this actually a place where I can grow, or just another place that will ask me to be endlessly available? The public language may still say confidence, ambition, empowerment, and growth. The private checklist often says commute, childcare, income floor, burnout risk, pension, safety, and whether the workplace will punish a real life for having real limits. That difference matters, because the same opportunity is not always the same opportunity for everyone. A portfolio career can sound exciting if you have savings, network, time, a spare room, and someone who can absorb the risk with you. It sounds different if rent is due, your laptop is old, your shift ends late, and your evening is already gone before you sit down. Randstad's Work Monitor 2026 says that 72% of employers now call the traditional corporate ladder outdated, while workers are diversifying into portfolio careers. That sounds modern, and sometimes it is. Some people really do gain freedom when the old ladder breaks. They build a life that fits them better. They stop waiting for permission. They combine skills, clients, projects, tools, and income streams in a way that gives them more control. But there is another side. When the ladder breaks, some people do not gain freedom. They lose the handrail. That is the class line inside the career conversation. The correct advice is often expensive. Take a course, build a network, go back to school, start a side project, relocate, work less so you can learn more, build your personal brand, learn AI, learn cybersecurity, learn data. Learn how to write without sounding like 10,000 other people using the same tools. Fine, but who has the spare time? Who has the energy after a 12-hour shift? Who has the money to take a bad first year in a new field? Who can afford to be a beginner again? This is where the dream language breaks. Career advice loves the person who can choose. Real life is full of people choosing between imperfect options. Stay in a job that drains you, or risk a market that may not want you. Learn new tools or sleep. Start over or keep the income steady. Take a lower role or protect your pride. Ask for flexibility or look less committed. Say you are struggling or become the person who is not adapting. And from above, the labor market can still look calm. Denmark's statistics showed Denmark's registered unemployment rate at 3% in March 2026, with 92,184 registered unemployed people. From a distance, that looks stable. It sounds manageable. It can make the whole situation look less serious than it feels on the ground. But another Denmark statistic release gives the more human detail. In the fourth quarter of 2025, 17% of job seekers aged 15 to 64 who were not employed had been looking for work for more than 12 months. Among people aged 55 to 64, the share was 27%. So yes, the market can look strong. And yes, it can still feel brutal if you are the one outside the door. That is the contrast we keep missing. Publicly, the language is full of confidence, mobility, flexibility, future skills, AI adoption, lifelong learning, personal branding. Privately, many people are not chasing freedom. They are managing exposure. They are asking how much risk their life can carry. And this is happening while many workers are already tired. Gallup's State of the Global Workplace, 2,026 points to global employee engagement, falling to 20% in 2025, the lowest since 2020. That is not just a productivity statistic. It is a signal about the emotional state of people who are being asked to adapt. People are still showing up, but many are pulling back inside. That matters because transformation requires energy. Learning requires energy. Starting over requires energy. Trusting a new system requires energy. And a lot of ordinary people are being asked to rebuild their future on a battery that is already low. The OECD's work on AI and employment points to another part of the story. AI adoption is still uneven. Not every company is using it deeply. Not every job is changing at the same speed. But the costs are falling, the tools are improving, and AI skills are becoming more important. The risks are not only about job loss, they are also about control, privacy, bias, transparency, pace, and whether workers still understand how decisions are being made around them. That is why this does not only feel like a career issue, it feels like a trust issue. When a company says a new tool will help, workers ask, help who? Will it remove the dead tasks or measure every movement? Will it support judgment or replace training? Will it give ordinary workers leverage or just make fewer people do more work faster? Will it make work more human or just make exhaustion more efficient? These are not anti-technology questions. They are dignity questions because AI can genuinely help. It can remove some of the dead weight. It can help a worker write a better email. It can help a small business owner make material without paying an agency. It can help a young worker learn faster. It can give someone outside elite networks tools that used to be locked behind money, status, and access. There are new roles. There are new paths. There are people who will become harder to ignore because they combine tool use with judgment, care, communication, ethics, taste, trust, and real-world sense. The future is not simply humans replaced. It is also humans who use tools well becoming harder to dismiss. But that positive truth only matters if we stop lying about the cost of getting there, because the transition is not weightless. Someone has to learn after work. Someone has to take the risk. Someone has to sit with the uncertainty. Someone has to keep paying rent while the market decides which skills matter next. And that someone is often not a headline. It is an ordinary person in a normal room with a normal phone, a normal bill, a normal tired body, and a life that does not pause just because the economy found a new buzzword. This is why career now feels less like identity and more like risk management. You see it when someone keeps their job but quietly learns another skill. You see it when a worker says they want purpose, then chooses the role with predictable hours, decent benefits, and a boss who does not turn every emergency into a character test. You see it when a young person uses AI every day, but still worries that the same tool might shrink the path they need to enter the workplace. You see it when someone says they are just exploring options, but what they really mean is, I do not trust the floor under me. This is shared reality. Men may carry it through status, usefulness, income pressure, and the fear of becoming replaceable. Women may carry it through stability, flexibility, safety, family logistics, and the cost of another invisible load. But underneath the details, the pattern is the same. Ordinary people are trying to protect their future without pretending they are made of unlimited energy. The answer is not panic. Panic makes people chase every buzzword until they lose themselves. The answer is not comfort either. Comfort tells people everything will be fine if they stay positive, even when the structure around them is changing. The honest middle is direction. Pick one real skill, not 10. 1. Watch the market without worshiping it. Use AI without surrendering judgment. Keep your dignity separate from your job title. Do not confuse movement with progress. Do not let a company's growth language blind you to your own exhaustion. Do not let fear make every decision for you. And do not call survival a lack of ambition. This is how dignity comes back into the career conversation. Not by pretending work is safe. Not by pretending every shift is liberation. Not by shaming people for being cautious, but by looking directly at the pressure and refusing to let it define the whole person. A job can change. A title can disappear. A skill can expire. A market can move faster than anyone wanted. But a person still deserves direction, language, rest, training ground, fair expectations, and enough self-respect not to be reduced to whatever the economy needs this quarter. Career is no longer just a dream you follow. For many people, it is a risk you learn to manage, carefully, quietly, with open eyes, and with enough dignity to remember that adapting to pressure is not the same as belonging to it.